up, guys? I'm Harshita. I'm a final year MBBS student. Welcome back to my channel. So in this video, we're gonna be busting 10 most common myths about MBBS students. This video will be very helpful for all the NEET aspirants out there, and also will be like a reality check sort of expectations versus reality as well for all the NEET aspirants, and also for all those who have already got an MBBS seat and are about to start their MBBS journey. So without further ado, let's begin. So I asked ChatGPT about the top 10 most common myths about MBBS students, and let's begin with the first one. The first myth that I can see is they have no social life. Absolutely untrue. Absolutely, this is a myth. You can take me as an example. I have a YouTube channel of more than 2.5 thousand subscribers. I had Instagram as well, but I discontinued. I quit Instagram 6 months ago. I had around 2000 followers there as well on Instagram. And social life is not just about social media. I have a lot of friends as well, and not just from my college. I have friends from other medical colleges as well. Social interaction is very essential in your med school because it really helps develop your personality and your social communication skills as well. The way you talk with your patients, the way you talk with your other batchmates, the way you talk with your teachers, professors, it all really matters a lot. Especially the most important thing in which communication really helps you and social life actually helps you is the way you talk with the patient, your behavior, the way you speak to them, the way you counsel them, the way you make them understand a disease and about their condition. It is the very important, and that actually builds your personality as well, and it really helps you in the longer run as well. So social interaction, social life is very important for MBBS students, and there is nothing such like that they are completely introverts or they have absolutely no social life. The next myth which I can see is they memorize everything. Now, if you have been following me for a while, you know that I absolutely hate by hearting stuff. Whatever subject it is there, whatever topic, if there is something to by heart, I absolutely don't like it. Although I can say there are a few topics which I really like, few subjects also in which I really like by hearting. So it basically means if you have interest in it, you will eventually by heart, right? So for example, if you take any song or your favorite song, you know the lyrics by heart of that song, right? Because you have interest in it. But when it comes to your most hated subject, you really don't understand because you have no interest in it, you can't by heart it. So it all depends on the interest you have, and the more you build your interest in it, the more you can by heart. But I can say 100% sure that this is a myth that MBBS students all they do is just by heart. No. The next myth which I can see is they are naturally brilliant. No, absolutely a myth. Not all the people who get MBBS seat are like born as toppers. Take for my example as well. I am someone who is not at all a topper from my childhood. I was a very average child, average, above average child. I always used to get my percentage in, I was always in my 80s till 11th standard, I think. All my life I was in 80s range only. In my 10th standard I got 88%, and finally when I really put my hard work and soul into 12th standard PUC, my 12th result was 94%. That is the one time in my life that I really crossed 90%. Like otherwise I was always in my 80s. So this is actually a complete myth that all the people who get MBBS seat are born toppers, are naturally brilliant. The most important thing to understand here is that you don't need to get a distinction or you don't need to get a gold medal in order to become a good doctor. A good doctor is someone who can heal patients, who can counsel them, who knows how to talk with them softly. Communication skills are very important. Like, let's take an example of two doctors, Dr. A and Dr. B. You go to their OPDs. Dr. A speaks very rudely, doesn't treat you at all, and speaks very badly. His behavior is very bad. On the other hand, there is Dr. B who really listens to your problems patiently, calmly, and then explains you what is going on, what is wrong with your health, what you can do to improve your health. So in that case, obviously everyone will choose Dr. B over Dr. A, right? So it doesn't matter. Patients really don't see whether you are a gold medalist or a distinction person, anything. Ultimately, what patients see is how you communicate with them, and your skills really matter. Skills and communication skills. Your behavior is the ultimate thing which really matters. The next myth I can see is they don't get enough sleep. This is actually 50% myth and 50% fact. It actually depends on the kind of person you are, whether you are a night owl or an early morning person. I am someone who is kind of in between both of them, but when it comes to like exam season, I try to become an early bird person rather than going night owl, because when I was in my 11th and 12th standard, I was a night owl. I used to do studying all night, and then I got a lot of health issues. So after that I decided that I will never ever like study all night. I will wake up early and study, but I will never study like late night. So yeah, sometimes during exam season I don't get enough sleep. Obviously it is normal for all the students out there, like during exam season you don't get enough sleep, but during normal classes and stuff, aram se I will sleep 6 to 8 hours. That is not at all a problem. So this is kind of 50% myth, 50% fact. The next myth which I can see is that they only study textbooks. Okay, this is completely untrue. This is completely a myth. Yes, we study textbooks are like a major part from which we gain our knowledge. But apart from textbooks, the most important resource from which we gain knowledge is none other than patients. Like not even professors, not even teachers that much, that we gain from patients, learning from patients, learning from their stories. Like we gain knowledge from only two things. One is our textbooks and another one is patients. The more you talk with the patients, the more you interact with them, the more you ask them questions about their disease, you learn from them, you learn from their stories. MBBS students gain knowledge only from textbooks. That is absolutely not true. The most important resource we have from which we gain knowledge is our patients. The last but not the least is they have a perfect career path. Okay, so this is also a complete myth. Before joining MBBS, even I thought that after getting MBBS life के मजे ही मजे हैं, but absolutely untrue. I'll tell you the whole gist of journey. Okay, it is sorted, I can say. Like once you enter MBBS, this is the path you have to take. If you break anywhere in this between, then you have to change like your career or something. But once you enter MBBS, this is like the set path which is there. Okay, so 11th and 12th you give your PUC exams. After 12th you give your NEET UG exam, and after NEET UG exam finally you get an MBBS seat after the counseling. After you get your MBBS seat, you start your MBBS ka journey. 5.5 years of MBBS. In that 5.5, 4.5 years are studying, and the last 1 year will be internship, where you will be working in the hospital and you will be getting your stipend or salary also per month. So this is like the 5.5 years of MBBS. And after MBBS you have to give NEET PG exam. After your internship you have to give your NEET PG exam, and after NEET PG counseling, ranking, everything, you'll be finally allotted your PG college along with the branch whichever you have chosen. After that, PG is for like MS or MD, that is for 3 years. So for 3 years you will be in that same college. Again you will be like drilling. This time you will not be studying so much, it's like a duty. So whole 3 years PG you will be earning, and it will be more than what you earned during your internship. So 3 years you will be earning, you will be a full doctor, you will be on duty, you will be not studying that much, but you will be having couple of things to do like thesis and all, as far as I remember. So after your NEET PG, after your PG, MD or MS is done, there is another exam called as NEET SS, that is super speciality. So you have to, if you want, you can go for that as well. For super specialization, you need to give that exam, and that super speciality course, I'm not sure, but I think it's 2 years course. So yeah, 2 years ka course. After you're done with finally you're done with your super speciality as well. That is finally it, I guess. If you want, you can go for doing PhD as well. So this entire thing, 5.5 years plus 3 plus 2, total 10 years of studying and everything. This is like a set pattern, total 10 years. And then if you go for any job, apply for any job in government or private hospitals, you can go for that. Or the most common thing which everyone does is open up your own hospital or clinic. In that you will be like entirely there itself, and yeah, you will be settled finally in life. Most of the people think that it's a very smooth thing which happens, but actually these, like, the 5.5 MBBS years are only so frustrating that most of the people try to give up after MBBS and don't go for NEET PG. Even if they go for NEET PG, after completing PG, they are so exhausted and their 20s are almost gone. And yeah, there are so many things to consider, such as marriage and babies also, and finally settling up and having your family. So many dreams and aspirations you have in your 20s. So your whole 20s are gone. You have to sacrifice your whole 20s in order to, be in this zone itself. So it's completely a myth that they have an absolutely perfect career path. That's it for today's video, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope this video busted a lot of myths you had about MBBS students. If you're someone who has recently joined, like got MBBS seat, or you are a NEET aspirant, then hope this video found this helpful. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. I'll meet you super soon in my next video. Until then, you know what to do. Stay happy and keep smiling.